Okay, so so now we are open for questions. I already answered my question, and I have a question for you actually.
Okay.
Can you really determine any diet component as driver of a particular gut microbiota type or composition? Because you showed us that different area has different major diet, because we also would like to know about that, because we also have different kind of traditional food.
That probably the same the same objective as Dr. Lee has already been mentioned, that we want to find actually what is the main component. But I would say that it would be very difficult when you consider the high diversity of the diets. All right, that if you consider the small ingredients that combine to the same diets, that would be you need big data in order to
Yes,
do that.
agree with you.
And those would be particularly difficult for Asian diets. Right? I didn't show some of the my slide, but even the same dish in Thailand,
Yeah.
right? It difference between region.
Because other factor besides diet also influence the composition, right?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. And I already answered Nicholas's questions regarding whether there is already a vault set up in Indonesia. Not yet. Hopefully we could work together with the other country. There's another question from Francis Elegado asking whether is there any government bioprospecting law or ethical regulations in Indonesia and Thailand or other countries that would hamper fecal sample collection, particularly from indigenous people? So I answered that in general that we have our own regulations. The government that could be accessed via their website. But would you like to answer first, or I could give the general picture in Indonesia?
You can go first. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Here in Indonesia, you cannot just export anything that is collected within the country. First of all, you have to have a very good collaborations with a local partner, and equal partnerships. That's important. Equal partnerships, and then also as much as possible, everything is being done in Indonesia. And also, if you don't have partner, you cannot export samples. And when the technology is not in place yet in Indonesia, then you can apply for a material transfer agreement, MTA, with, of course, I think each country has their own regulations that needs to be followed. And the reason why the government developed that is to protect their own biodiversity, most likely. Iyarit, do you want to add more the regulations in Thailand?
So as far as I know, right, the regulation in Thailand are focusing on the research, meaning that if you collect fecal samples for research, that's fine. But okay, that you have to get the ethical clearance.
Yes.
For example, when I went to the jungles for getting the feces from the hill tribe, then we need to get ethical clearance from the Ministry of Public Health, which is the supervisor of the local hospital that we collaborated with. All right, but in terms of exploiting what is in the fecal samples, that there will be no clear regulation for that. For example, this would be issue in the future as well. All right, this is not just in my opinion, this is not just a storage for restoring the healthy microbiome in the futures, but in the feces, you do have commercial values. For example, you can get some probiotics that you can develop and sell as a product. All right. I mean, the regulation for that has to be implemented in order to use them, which at least in Thailand, I didn't see such regulation yet, but would be
not yet in Indonesia too. Yeah, but in terms of genomics and other omics research, there's also a kind of regulations. I think that could also be applied for the microbiome research similarly.
And for additionally for ethical issues, like let's say if you isolate one valuables probiotics from one patient, from one subject, all right, would that subject would be benefit?
Yes. What will, yeah, what will be the benefit sharing for that particular subject or particular populations? It has to be considered as well. I think that's common sense. You are welcome, Francis. Is there any more questions? If not, shall we conclude, Iyarit?
Oh, yes.
Should we give it back to Priska, the MC?
Oh, yes, I think so.
Okay, Priska, so we'll give it back to you. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Oh, okay. Somebody asked your question, asked your email. Okay, sorry, Priska, Iyarit, you could type your email in the chat if you don't mind. Priska, you can continue. Thank you.
Thank you very much to all the honorary speakers, Dr. Iyarit and Dr. Safarina, for moderating the second session.